and welcome to 647. 6 stories for 7 a.m. because, wow, is there a famine of truth in our land. And this is your quick news fix. And the truth starts now. So yesterday morning, right, I'm driving to church to teach my adult Sunday school class, and I get a text from a Jarhead 64647 subscriber named Steve Emerson, who's a Republican VIB, and who coyly says to me, "We missed you last night at the Reagan dinner." And all I could do is stare at my phone blankly like Sleepy Joe at a G7 meeting. I paid $160 to go to that meeting, and Steve, who is a great promoter of 647, a great promoter of me, was going to introduce me to Byron Donaldson and to lots of Republican folks and help me to spread the word about 647. And where was I $160 later? Well, I decided to go to Rehoboth Beach and have a make your own Sunday party with my BFF Sleepy Joe. Yeah. You know what? This crap, this mental decline, it's getting out of hand. That's all I can say. I mean, I have a giant calendar in front of my desk. I write with a black, bold felt tip, right? But the way the calendar was laid out, the last day of the month with this square at the bottom of it, I didn't flip it. I wrote into the blank square. I thought I had November 1 covered and never flipped it over. I would have seen Reagan dinner written in there. Couldn't do it. So I'm going to put a call in to Kareem Jean-Pierre, and I'm going to ask her to come on board. And I know she's going to be able to help me. And I will even buy her a binder. All right, take one. Dilbert creator, Scott Adams. This is his actual post on X. On Monday, I will ask President Trump via X to help save my life. He offered to help me if I needed it. I need it. As many of you know, I have metastasized prostate cancer. My healthcare provider, Kaiser of Northern California, has approved my application to receive a newly FDA-approved drug called Pluvicto. But they have dropped the ball in scheduling the brief IV to administer it, and I can't seem to fix that. Can you imagine that? I am declining fast. I will ask President Trump if he can get Kaiser of Northern California to respond and schedule it for Monday. That will give me a fighting chance to stick around on this planet a little bit longer. It's not a cure, but it does give good results to many people. Okay? So then an update later on Sunday. Trump says he's on it, which means he will get Scott the IV of Pluvicto, which could prolong his life. Adams wants the IV for Monday. Kaiser of Northern California is a notoriously lefty supporter. They may resist Trump on principle. We don't know, but a lot of people are watching this now. And credit to Don Jr. for intervening and saying to Scott, I will make sure my father knows about this today on Sunday in the morning. So guess what? All over the press now, Scott Adams is introduced as a Trump supporter. He was the Dilbert creator, and he was notoriously anti-Trump until Trump found out he was dying of cancer and called him 3 times on his personal line. Each time Dilbert thought somebody was goofing him. The 3rd time he picked up, and Trump said, "Hey, Scott, I know you're not a supporter, but I like the work that you do, and I want to help you. So here's what I'm offering. If you ever get in a jam and you can't get the medical help that you need, just call me and I will make it happen. That was it. Didn't ask for any favor, anything else. And over the months, there was a huge transformation in Scott Adams. All the things he had been claiming about Trump, they all faded away because of that generous offer. And here he is today begging for his life. And I guarantee you Trump's going to get it done. All right, take two. Fast, vicious, and sweet. We ought to have T-shirts and caps with that on it, okay? So every insider knows what we're talking about, okay? Trump warns U.S. military may very well go into Nigeria guns a-blazing over the killing of Christians. President Trump warned that if the Nigerian government continued to allow Christians in the country to be killed, the United States military may very well go into Nigeria guns a-blazing. In a post on Truth Social, Trump instructed the Department of War to prepare for possible action, adding that if the U.S. does attack, it will be fast, vicious, and sweet. Trump also threatened to stop all aid assistance to Nigeria if the Nigerian government continues to allow the killing of Christians, which they have allowed since 2009. Why the hell are we paying them money? Unbelievable. If the Nigerian government continues to allow the killing of Christians, the USA will immediately stop all aid assistance to Nigeria and may very well go into that now disgraced country, guns a-blazing, to completely wipe out the Islamic terrorists who are committing these horrible atrocities. Does this have anything to do with London, other countries in the EU? Does it have anything to do with Dearborn, Michigan? Does it have anything to do with Mamdani? Does it have anything to do with the Muslim candidate for mayor in Minneapolis? Does it have anything to do with the Sharia law village that is being built on 800 acres outside of Houston? Will you wake the F up? This is unbelievable. Trump continued, I am hereby instructing our Department of War to prepare for possible action. If we attack, it will be fast, vicious, and sweet, just like the terrorist thug attack. The cherished Christians, warning the Nigerian government, better move fast. The president also took action to designate Nigeria as a country of particular concern. And guess what? While all this is going on, the Muslim president of Nigeria is talking smack in the press. Since 2009, the number of Christians killed by the religion of peace and rape is approximately 125,000 in Nigeria alone. So far in 2025, that number is approaching 8,000 Christians slaughtered. Christianity is facing an existential threat in Nigeria. Thousands of Christians are being killed. Radical Islamists are responsible for this mass slaughter, Trump said. Okay, I am hereby making Nigeria a country of particular concern, but that is the least of it. When Christians or any such group is slaughtered, like it happened in Nigeria, something must be done. In response to Trump's comments about the mass slaughter of Christians in Nigeria, the Nigerian Minister of Foreign Affairs, Yusuf Maitama Tugar, denied that there was a genocide occurring in the country. It's exactly what we hear from London. Are there grooming rape gangs going on in London? Never heard of a thing. Talk to the chief of police. Nope, haven't heard a whisper about it. Hundreds, okay, of working class young teenage girls gang raped by these assholes. They need to be exterminated. So here's a word for Yusuf and Trump. Here's an idea. A lot less talk and a lot more action. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Okay, take three. New York City mayoral race. These things are all tied together. It's all coming together. This is the power of evil getting into a hysteria because they know we're coming to the headbanger's ball here. It's good against evil, and it's happening on more planes than just this. So let's get to it. Let's stop pussyfooting around. All right? The New York City mayoral's race hotly contested. Nearly 2 million expected to cast votes, and it's a lib fest. That's why. When do you get when and where do you get an election where you have no good choice? But for these clowns in New York City, it's, are you kidding? This is Christmas and Hanukkah. We can either vote for Cuomo, to quote Al Sharpton, Cuomo or Zoran the Magnificent, right? So for once you can define what kind of crazy gonif you want to have work against you. For the more conservative but crazy left, there is Andrew, kill grandma and sexual favor the ladies, Cuomo, or if you're really gone goofy, Zoran the Magnificent, a Muslim, Marxist, Maoist mama's boy set on turning Manhattan into Trafalgar Square. Fear of Balabustas and Burqas is bringing moderates to the polls. You're going to have to look up what that means. It's Yiddish. Okay? Sorry, I lived up there too long. I'm a hillbilly from Kentucky, but I know what Balabustas are, right? Fear of Balabustas and Burqas is bringing moderates to the polls. Younger voters will vote for the socialist Muslim because they know he hates Israel, and their professors have programmed them to respond in kind. They don't even think anymore. They just react. They flinch. Cuomo, the compromised, is attracting more independents, a dignified term for squish voters. Mamdani is the odds-on favorite as the male Muslim version of AOC. He performs in front of the camera while Cuomo looks like a hemorrhoid. 6 months of Zoran, the zero, and lefties will be crying for the Adams thugocracy. Trump should build a wall around New York City that says, reprobate asylum within. And then above that, all those who enter here abandon all hope. All right, take 4. Snap could snap out of it this Wednesday. That's the rumor that Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said on Sunday that Snap could restart this Wednesday. He said Trump wants to make sure that people get their food benefits. Dems are saying they are focused on health care. What they mean is creating a giant slush fund for illegal immigrant health care through Obamacare, which was all a political boondoggle to create massive amounts of cash extracted from families across the country. And it's disgusting what's going on. MTG is out there constantly screaming that the Republicans will do nothing about Obamacare, and the premiums are going up 30% in January. 30%, okay? That will put your ACA premium above the average person's house payment. So now you're paying more for crappy health care where if you like your doctor, you can forget the hell about your doctor, and the premium is now more than your mortgage payment. What kind of United States is this? Okay? I don't get it. I don't get it. Why do we tolerate this? This is pitchforks and torches. These guys have been on vacation for this whole shut-off, a whole month of it, and they made sure they got paid, right? While everybody else does not get paid. And while the country goes to hell in a handbasket, and it makes Trump look like a fool. I'm bringing in all this capital. Nobody cares. Nobody cares right now because on Main Street, they got to choose What do we want? Food, car insurance, or health insurance, or pay the mortgage? And people are starting to live together in multiple families in houses just to be able to pay their health insurance. That is a crime. All right, take 5. This is the night mission of leftists, Muslims, rhinos, and Dems, along with the Antifa, Soros, couch, canker, kinetic core. China's war on Christians, right? It's happening all over. And it's not me going, well, I'm a Christian, I'm going to talk about this over and over again. No, these are dominant stories in the news cycle because we are in an existential war, good against evil, okay? And evil wants to wipe out Christianity. They absolutely do, because ultimately, Christians are the only folks, if they are true believers, that will not succumb. Everybody else will succumb as soon as they don't have food for a week. They'll just fold up shop. So China's war on Christians, Beijing's nationwide wave of raids on independent churches marks an escalation in the CCP's war on faith, unseen since the days of Mao's Red Guards, right? All taught as a heroic moment in history on the majority of campuses in our country. That should be stopped immediately. When police stormed homes across 9 provinces on the night of October 9th, 2025, it marked more than just another chapter in China's decades-long persecution of faith. It was the beginning of what human rights observers are now calling the most sweeping, coordinated crackdown on Christianity since the Cultural Revolution of the 1960s. The target? Beijing's Zion House Church, a house church, the largest and most influential urban house church network in China's modern history. For 40 years, since the end of the Mao Zedong bloody Cultural Revolution, China's unregistered Protestant and Catholic congregations have operated in a precarious gray zone, technically illegal, but often tolerated. That uneasy equilibrium shattered in October. Zion's church founder and senior pastor, Reverend Mingri Ezra Jin, was taken from his home in Baihai, Guangxi province. Within hours, police swept through multiple cities, arresting at least 22 pastors, preachers, and lay leaders. 2 detention centers in Baihai now hold 13 women and 9 men. Others have been placed under house arrest or disappeared into China's labyrinth of residential surveillance facilities. The scale of this campaign is staggering. Zion Church was not a small underground fellowship. It was a sprawling network of more than 5,000 members across 40 cities and roughly 100 congregations, sustained by an online devotional program that attracted more than 10,000 daily participants before its digital presence was erased by authorities. By any measure, Zion was China's most dynamic Protestant church movement, a living symbol of how urban believers, professionals, and intellectuals could build a nationwide spiritual community outside the Communist Party's control. It is precisely this vitality, observers say, that provoked the party's wrath. I just want to give credit to Bob Fu, who wrote this article. While Beijing's hostility toward religion is nothing new, this 2025 Zion Church crackdown marks a dramatic escalation in method and intent. Unlike earlier campaigns that relied on localized harassment or selective arrests, this new wave was centrally planned and nationally synchronized. Evidence of direction from the highest levels of the Ministry of Public Security and the United Front Work Department. This crackdown represents a return to Maoist absolutism with the surgical efficiency of high-tech AI digital coercion. And if you don't think there is not a huge group represented and funded by the Brotherhood of Benevolent Billionaires that can't wait to do the same thing here, and 98% of the pastors will fold up in the first 5 days. Read the Bible. This is what it's about, standing up against this stuff. All right, take 6, advanced reprobate mind study. Man, here's one just wide out in the open in Arizona, in Prescott. Drunk judge caught with her pants down, peeing in public as cops haul away interfering husband. You can't make it up. The video shows Yavapai County Superior Court Judge pro tempore Christine Schaff Olson, 42, was seen scrambling to get out of shrubbery as cops arrived around 1:30 a.m. on October 4th in Prescott, according to the video obtained by Fox 10. That video showing her naked, fat, white ass on camera. Officers were called by several witnesses who saw the judge urinating in public, the police report said. This is disgusting, the responding cop told Schaff Olson, who was so drunk she couldn't even spell her own name, but was quick to point out that she was a judge, the affidavit said. This is unacceptable, the cop told her. Schaff Olson's husband, Jason Olson, the Parks and Recreation Manager of the town of Chino Valley, came over to pull his wife away while she was being arrested, and he was arrested. So both of them delivered the "do you know who I am" dialectic before being cuffed and stuffed into the cop cars. So great job, cops. And what can I tell you? It's the reprobate mind. You're seeing it everywhere, okay? People come, we say in the Christian walk, you have 1,000 moments a day where you're at a fork in the road, right? You got to make a choice. Which way do I go? Right or left, okay? Those aren't political terms. One's what we call the narrow gate, and the other's the wide gate. The wide gate is where everyone wants to go. You can bring all your junk. Okay, the narrow gate is the one where you strip all that away and get down to the right stuff. Okay, so these people get to that intersection. They don't even look at the narrow gate. They run to the wide gate with the craziest things that you can conceive of, and they're all together there, being as crazy as you want to be. And we're observing that. Okay, if you're one of those people, you're just part of the frenzy. It's like, hey, never thought of doing that crazy thing. I guess I will. We're going to see it more and more and more. And unfortunately, there's going to be a lot of them that are going to go, you know what? We can be violent and we can justify it, right? Because Trump. That's all they need to say. Trump. Justify anything. Trump. All right. But we don't justify anything. And I don't want you to justify anything. I want you to keep your priorities straight. Here's what they are for Monday, the first day of the week, the tough day. I want you to share us. I want you to like us. I want you to make comments, meaningful comments. And I want you to push us out to our network. And don't be like me. When people try to help you, like Steve Emerson, and you just can't get your stuff together. Kareem, what do I have to do tonight? She may not tell me. I don't know. But I'll tell you what I'm going to tell you, that the great omniscient God Jehovah, I'm telling you because I experience it every day. He does not care about my mental deterioration, okay? Despite that, he allows me to create stuff and get product out there and do it on a variety of fronts. And if he can do that with an old, broken down, pain in the ass like me, imagine what he can do for you. You're way better than me. So, dear God, reach out your arms, spread them out over all of us in this cause, and bless these folks as they begin the work week. God bless you, and thank you for being here this morning. Take care.